You're listening to Theater and College Hoops. I'm Subi. Alongside me is Taylor Dammel and the Shark. We're brought to you by Dash Radio and the Barn Burner Podcast Network. Go subscribe on whichever device you use. I actually heard Ryan Harrow, former Kentucky point guard, former NC State point guard. Taylor, I think you are inexplicably in a rivalry / really have a high level of hatred for Ryan Harrow. Is that correct? Why?
Correct. Hate him. I think it was because he was supposed to be like the man around here, and then just was like not good pretty much the whole time at both stops. I really liked him as a recruit, but he just got talked up like he was the man, and he was never the man. Am I wrong?
No, I just feel like there's a few other people like that. I mean, you just outwardly hate Ryan Harrow.
I mean, I can name so many better point guards that were so much less talked about than Ryan Harrow.
Decent little flat top on Ryan Harrow, though. He's subscribed, so you should as well. Check out the website at thebarnburner.com. That's the-barnburner.com. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at CBB Theater. You should also follow me at Subi232 to find out where the Theat is. And make sure to follow Taylor at Taylor Dammel and the Shark at _Shark_BB. Let's open the curtains. I want to start this program by apologizing to you because we lied. Last episode, we said there would be a bracket. There obviously is not. The Shark last Sunday tweeted he would be in the war room breaking down the bracket like Tom Hanks in the Da Vinci Code. No bracket. No Hanks. Well, actually, fuck Tom Hanks. Oh, my God. That one hurt, actually, right there. That right there was kind of like, have you guys ever seen the Len Bias 30 for 30 and his dad mixes up his names and he just like catches himself and it just is such a gut punch? I forgot about the whole Tom Hanks thing already. But of course, that's now impossible. We didn't get Selection Sunday. We didn't get the delayed reactions from teams' film rooms and coaches' homes. It's all been stripped from us. Last episode we aired, it was just no fans. The following day, they levied and said no NCAA tournament. There's no denying it. We're all hurt like hell. Has it been any better for you guys since last Thursday? How are we doing?
No. How could either of us be doing any better? It would be one thing. I guess today's the start of NFL free agency. So at least it's given us some topic for the first time in like 4 or 5 days, something to talk about other than coronavirus. But, really more than anything else, it's just like tiring because we can't get away from it. Even if you finally found a show you wanted to watch, the president's going to pop in at some point and like talk for an hour about the same thing they talked about the day before and the day before and the day before. So at least here in Scottsdale, things aren't quite as extreme as they are in maybe like where you guys are at in Chicago and DC. It's 78 degrees here right now. And why I say that is because everything in Scottsdale is open air. So you can kind of still go do stuff, like at least like go for a walk or go play golf or something like that. So you might be able to do a little bit of that. But no, other than that, just terrible.
Shark, you still speechless from Thursday's decision?
Yeah, I don't know how you're so chipper right now. It's actually gotten worse from my perspective.
I'm not chipper. I wouldn't describe my as chipper.
That comment sounded pretty chipper. And also Subi's pretty chipper too. The fact that he was able to speak like that at the beginning of this show. It's gotten worse for me. I thought it's just like the constant reminders, like Selection Sunday, you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's 5:00. What am I'm watching Love is Blind over here. I should be rearing up for some gumble right now. I should be getting gumble here in a minute. And then I thought I was doing all right on Saturday. And then, I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm trying to get that kill to death ratio a little bit closer to 1.0. Wasn't quite there. Struggling on that front right now. I'm getting worked by people online. And then I started thinking, I forget who it was. Someone in the group text sent something out about anything. And then I just started thinking about, oh my God, what if Duke was playing Belmont at the 7:10 slot on Thursday night? How good would that be? Or if I'm walking out of work on Friday afternoon into a Providence, Texas Tech slate or anything like that. And I just really started doing some internal damage to myself at that point. So it has gotten substantially worse. It's going to be terrible this Thursday. Oh my gosh, it's going to be bad. And really the only distraction that gets you to not think about it is this world crisis that's happened. So that's not going to pick you up anywhere as well. You're just seeing tweet after tweet about how the curve's getting crazier and we're shutting down even more. So our distraction is something 10 times more important than March Madness. So we're living in a pit of misery right here, and it's going around and around, and we got nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I am glad you mentioned Love is Blind, though. Maybe that's why I'm a little chipper, because I've just been burying Netflix shows, some good reality television. But you're right. And I said this the second the tournament got stripped away from us. I said Thursday is going to be the toughest day. We're going to be riding on pure emotion over the weekend, maybe have some beers, still no work. But Thursday, not having taken any PTO, having to work, knowing that whatever's on TV absolutely pales in comparison to the 12 hours that we were going to get on Thursday and Friday. That's when it's really going to hit us. And it's going to be a complete and utter gut punch. You know what else actually didn't help me at all? I know it's a good story and it's very sweet, and we're actually going to try and get one of the creators of the this One Shining Moment, some student at NC State. But all those One Shining Moment videos that are coming out for particular schools, that's a gut punch right there.
Yeah,
blow after body blow.
I haven't watched one of those videos yet. I've seen them come across the timeline. Not watching it. I'm telling you right now, I'm not showing up to that interview with that kid. All the best to him, but I'm not going to be there. Can't do it.
The first 20 seconds of those videos, I quit, because it's these beautiful establishing shots of either players or the arena or, the locker room. And then you hear the doom, 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 and then I'm out. I don't even get to the ball is tipped. Ball is not tipped.
Yeah, it's weird to be living in a time, I think, not to be super melancholy or somber about this. The only other time I can think that's equivalent to this, where we know that we're living in a history book chapter, is like 9/11. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily the shock and stuff that was, but this is the only other time I can think in our times on this planet that this is going to be like a chapter in a history book, not like a paragraph. This is going to be like a whole section, and that's just kind of strange. I actually tortured myself this weekend, though. I watched both Arizona losses to Oregon from this previous year, simply because I'd almost rather watch a loss than watch nothing at all. Is that like it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all?
No, not in this scenario, man. I'm telling you, watch something else. There's actually good options. I'm just letting you know. Don't subject yourself to that.
So have your guys' fiancés, right? Both fiancés? Yeah, both fiancés. Have they gotten to the point where they're asking you why you're watching games that you knew what the outcome was already?
I'm not even watching them. I'm not watching any games.
I mean, not even just from this last year, just like any of the replays they've done in general. Like I was literally watching the 2016 Big Ten semifinal the other day on Saturday morning.
I can't do that either. It takes too much for me to get myself to that level. Now, I can appreciate you watching those previous games. A little teaser for your interview in this episode. You're going to get a little talk from Babcock related to scouting players that could really surge themselves up the draft board with Peyton Pritchard. Maybe that's some good tape that NBA GMs are going to be looking at. But I frankly I have no desire to watch the games right now because you're getting just brutal FOMO associated with it.
I caught myself this week. We went to brunch on Sunday at Phoenix Beer Company. Shout out their Phoenix Beer Company. Maybe friend of the program. Maybe we should get them to sponsor us. Yeah. But it's just, you're catching yourself like when you're looking at your phone for scores and stuff like that. But you're also catching yourself because all of these restaurants and bars and stuff still have like the same channels on the screen that they would normally for a normal weekend. So it's literally like a replay of some random Big East game. And I'm looking up in the middle of like every third word to like look at the score of this game that I already know happened 4 years ago. You just don't realize. It's kind of like when you hurt like your pinky or something like that, and you don't realize how much you like use your pinky. This is kind of catching yourself of, yo, you don't realize how much you are reliant on looking up at the TV or like down at your phone until it's all gone.
Yeah. So 2 points to your initial question. First of all, when they play those reruns, it's not necessarily why are you watching these games where you know the outcome already. It's, oh shit, wait, are they playing? Like who's not canceled? And it's like, this is like from 2009. That's fucking Carl Krauser. And I sound like an idiot. It's like, that's clearly Carl Krauser, right? That's not whoever the Pitt point guard is today. So that's more so the questions that I'm getting is, whoa, are there some teams or whatever that haven't gotten canceled? The other one, Taylor, you know how often we complain and piss and moan about bars and sports bars especially that are just terrible with their TV situation. They'll have the Chive or something playing as opposed to Duke Carolina. Actually, 2 weeks ago, we had to request to get Duke Carolina on over a spring training game. Beside myself. But this is now, bars no longer have to get asked by patrons, hey, can you change it to this channel? Can you change it to that channel? Go do, like, actually, I want the bars to revert to their old selves, to their typical selves. Don't put any fucking sports on. There's not like there's any to put on, but just now you can put on the Chive. Now you can put on some stupid show, right? Or movie. There's nothing else going on.
You wouldn't believe how expensive the Chive TV is for bars and restaurants, by the way. This is a complete side note, but kind of the same note. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month, even on a bar with like 8 TVs. And could you imagine your bar is spending $1,000 a month on the Chive TV instead of just teaching your bartenders what the fucking sports channels are that you already pay for? But that's, I guess, that's a whole side conversation. But
it looks like it's paying off right now, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for these tough, good investment for these tough times, I guess.
Well, actually, it's not, because here in Illinois, you can't dine in. I'm sure Arizona you can, but no dine in, baby.
Well, yeah, that's the only, like I said, it's an intro here. Everything's open air here, so I wonder how that's going to play out. I mean, I don't know. Well, it's tough to speculate, but I who knows, because everything's a patio here. So that's my only solace, is that we still have that going for us right now.
A couple of non-coronavirus points that we can touch on briefly here. Shark, your boy, Pitino, back in Division I basketball. This has been quite a trajectory for Pitino since we started Titch. I believe he was still the head coach at at Louisville, or was it a year removed? It might have been a year removed. He might have been at Panathinaikos, but you were following him religiously. And I think, at least in the Titch world, you were lobbying for him to be back. He's back in Iona.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to see that. He's a great coach. I saw some funny Gottlieb called him like the best coach in the world of our generation. That was quite a take from our guy Gottlieb there. Love Gottlieb. Aside from that, Pitino, some of his comments about taking the Iona job, he's like, I really just wanted to go to a small school in the Northeast. Okay, guy, like you're not going to Iona for 2 years to prove that you can turn them around, and then you're going to end up taking like the Texas job after that, or some other UCLA, or not UCLA, Mick Cronin's there, maybe Arizona, somewhere else, nice retirement state. But Pitino's clearly doing this to rehab his image here. So I like that he's saying the party line. Providence guys are probably going to lose their mind, because he also has the one-liner out there that wish he never left Providence way back when. Huh? You guys got to live with that then.
Taylor, you got any thoughts on Rick?
I think some of those Providence guys still haven't left Providence. Maybe they never will leave Providence. They might still be all on campus for the foreseeable future. What about the UConn job post? Maybe if Dan Hurley goes somewhere.
Well, he's not going anywhere on his own volition, Dan Hurley.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily saying that.
Just want to make sure that's clear.
What a fit that would be there. Yeah, I just love that we can at least bring like strippers and like cocaine jokes back into the fold for Pitino's team. Iona is kind of like the perfect size college for a comeback. They have a decent enough basketball history that it's like they're not a nobody, like a nobody, and they could still steal a bid next year in a conference tournament or whatever. I don't know what they're looking like next year, obviously, but you really, in those type of schools, you only need a guy. You just need a dude, and he can lead you to the conference title. And so Pitino is going to be able to recruit a dude or a grad transfer or someone like that. So I think it's a great fit for Pitino.
His quotes made me think, and now that we have nothing to do, I read this book last summer by Gene Wojciechowski, The Last Great Game. It's about Duke and Kentucky in the Leitner shot, leading up to the Leitner shot. And it's following Krzyzewski's rise at Duke, and it's following Pitino going to Kentucky. And I swear to God, there's definitely a quote that he has in there when he's getting recruited to go to Lexington. And at the time, he's the head coach of the New York Knicks, where he's like, I'm never leaving this job. This is the greatest job ever. So he really just regurgitates the greatest job of all time in order to go justify him leaving there to go to the next stop. So that's a good book. If you guys want to read something and you got some withdrawals, they really follow the rise of Bobby Hurley. They follow the rise of Jamal Mashburn, all these guys, and how they end up in their respective place in college basketball history.
I think it'd be perfect for Pitino and so on brand if he just came full circle and ended up coaching at URI in 2 years potentially. He goes from Kentucky to Louisville, then goes from Providence at the very beginning of his career, then go to the interstate rival at Rhode Island. That'd be something to watch. And then I also want to give a shout out to Tim Cluess. I feel bad for Cluess because he's a titan at Iona, easily their greatest basketball coach of all time. And then you just get this hotshot name like Rick Pitino coming in, and I feel like everybody's just completely forgotten about Cluess. Nobody cares about him ananymore.
Yeah, he was a sweet coach. Iona was always a popular pick in the tournament. They always played super fast, up and down, right in your face. And he's stepping down, I guess, for health reasons. Hopefully he's okay. But Pitino's going to come in and electrify New Rochelle.
One of our former Arizona guys, Momo Jones, transferred from Arizona to Iona, and they had, I can't remember the other guard on that Iona team, but I think they both were like 20-point scorers in the same season when Momo Jones was there. I think that it must have been Subi like 13, 12 or 13.
I think it was 12.
Yeah, that was another team that was, just like you were saying though, super fun, up and down. They had two just little diminutive guards, let's call them, that were tiny, but they were running up and down the court and scoring the rock.
Last little news and note that I want to bring the Shark in here to do a little soliloquy. As we enter the off season, there's going to be a lot of barren, it's going to be a wasteland on ESPN's college basketball page. All right. So much like last year, we're going to be scraping for content in the college basketball world. So what we've decided to do is start our own, what's the best term for it? Not a Bible, but
a manifesto. So
talk to us.
This manifesto, this was concocted in the deep winter of 2014, along with the Barn Chief, Logue, a couple other guys. We were bored. We were in law school. We needed something to do, and we loved college basketball. So we got together one night, and we put it together where we wanted to go through and break down who is the best, or I guess we'll call it a who. What is probably better? What's the best college basketball program? Factoring everything. Recency, so UCLA, maybe you're a little slacking a little bit. Longevity of how good they've been. Factor everything in. Do you want to know who's a better program, Oklahoma State or Villanova? I hate to tell you, but it's actually closer than you may think. So we went through a long time ago and we broke down all these different programs. And I think the better way to do it than the way we did it way back when is to do it in a sense of a NFL 100 type list, but we'll do 50, where we're going to break down and we're going to come up with this. We'll be blogging it at the same time. Who are the 50? What are the best, the top 50 college basketball programs? We'll release 50 through 45 one week. We'll go through, we'll explain, why they are ranked where they are. We factor in Final Fours, Elite Eight appearances, players that they've churned out, consistency. And there's no real metric, but we try to metric it as good as we can. So it is a good activity for you to kind of take a step back in this hiatus that we're in, look at this thing and say, you know what, these guys are actually the best. Do you ever wonder who should be the top program between Give me one here, Soup. Who do you think's better?
Kentucky or
Cincinnati?
UCLA?
Yeah, right now, hold on. Cincinnati or Arizona?
Well, I mean, that's a bad question to ask me, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to say Arizona.
I mean,
Well,
I don't think that's a good. That's not the recency on Cincinnati's not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yancey Gates is our best player
Yeah,
in the
so
last 20 years.
if I were you, I'd stop rambling because you're wrong. Because Cincinnati's won 2 national championships. They've gotten to 6 Final Fours, 8 Elite Eights, 26 conference championships, which beats you guys in every category except Elite Eights. So they're better than you think. And that's the point of this manifesto. We'll break them down 50-1.
So,
Excuse me. I was going to say it's going to be funny because I actually think, and I know we talked about Arizona more than we probably should on this program, but Arizona might be one of the more polarizing choices, not just because our bias, but because of their lack of top end value. Let's call it that. Like you just said, Cincinnati has more national championships than Arizona does. Subi, sorry, I interrupted you though. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. I was just going to say you had a good point there, but my only piggyback on this segment or what we're going to be doing here in the off season, much like the NFL top 100, I'm going to have to get these sound effects. Like every time they introduce a new number, it's like steel hitting steel. It's like,
we do need that. We got to do a list of like probably for each program. We'll do their 5 best players and then their 5 most like notable for 30-year-old guys like us that we remember in recent tournaments. We'll do a list of our top 5 there. We'll think of it. It'll be interesting to see, and it'll be something that isn't like a bracket that everybody on Twitter is posting out. What was the better game, the 07 Villanova Georgetown or the 19 North Carolina Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament? Like, shut up. Nobody's going to vote on this. We're all sick of that. We're going to go do something a little different.
we also got to get all of our guests back on just to give us a really quick soundbite. Like again, in the NFL top 100, you got people looking at the names and it's like, I don't know, DeAndre Hopkins at 30 or something. DeAndre Hopkins, hug for you. Come to your city, Taylor. But DeAndre Hopkins at 30, and then you got to get guys like 30. This guy's 30, or like, and we just equate that to whatever team. Like if someone finds it, absurd. So those are just the parallels that I think we need to bring, and I'll be responsible for that. Taylor, you had a question?
Yeah, I think that this is probably going to be the last episode we reference this season before us, or behind us, I guess I should say. Is that correct? Would you say?
Yes.
To quote Ben Affleck in The Town, we got to rear view this thing. Put it in the rear view. We're moving forward.
So I have some thoughts on the previous season, but is there anything that you guys want to say, maybe a sentence or 3, about the season we had, as we kind of put a bow on it before we move on?
No, I'm not ready. It's still too raw. It sucks.
I'll say something here just because as sad and downtrodden the 3 of us are about it, it could be a lot worse. And we've touched on this a little bit beforehand, Subi. It could be a lot worse. We could be fans of Dayton. Actually kind of a nice year for Tennessee to be down and bringing in 2 5-stars and a high 4-star next year. Nice play, Ricky Barnes. Arizona's going nowhere. Our teams are going nowhere. We're not Providence, the hottest team they've ever had. This could have been the year that Ed Cooley finally broke through. Ed Cooley still 1-5 in NCAA tournament games, by the way. Another year without a win.
Penn State, Rutgers.
Yeah, all those teams. Peyton Pritchard, Miles Powell, all these guys that just had the rug ripped out from underneath them. So put it in context, but context can still suck.
So I've been trying to find the right way to use this analogy, and this is probably going to be the best time I could ever have. And that is, this season was kind of like the girl in middle school or high school that has pocketless jeans. You guys remember that girl?
I fucking love that girl.
The season started off kind of hot, Champions Classic. Things are kind of crazy, but as the season wore on, things got real dysfunctional really quickly. And although they were still attractive to the viewer, you knew that this season was kind of way out in left field. And then it ended too quickly because she probably had a kid her junior year of high school. And that's pretty much what we had happen here. If graduation was the NCAA tournament, her life changed inexplicably before graduation even hit. And that's, I think, what we have here. I think this season was the girl in middle school and high school who wears pocketless jeans.
Phenomenal. Eloquently put. I love that analogy, that comparison, because everyone has that girl growing up from middle school that just peaked way too early. And I can't imagine the number of girls like that that fit that description from Alaska, but across this country, yeah, you're spot on there, Taylor.
Let me just make sure to say that I just there's a number of guys that could sit into this scenario as well. I just don't, I obviously don't have the can't think of the top of my head what the connection would be. Like, what's the analogy for the guy that peaked too early in this situation?
I don't know, but that's a tired analogy, like the former varsity football player or something. The pocketless jeans is good.
Yeah, I think it's a universally loved or universally known analogy.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get to our interview with NBA draft analyst Matt Babcock. But before we do that, a quick message from our friend Zach at the Barn Burner Podcast Network. Big thanks again to Matt Babcock for shedding some light on the draft process and his history in basketball. Very insightful. Let's finish strong here, fellas, with some segments. First of all, where am I? My where am I is going to be for Jared Paulson. So if you notice in the intro, I said Ryan Harrow. And for now, with where am I, I'm going Jared Paulson. If you can't tell by now who I was going to pick most likely for the NCAA tournament champion, it was going to be Kentucky. I loved the Wildcats this year. Loved Calipari this year. After they came back in Gainesville, I was all on Kentucky to win it all. But Jared Paulson, remember him from those Kentucky teams from earlier in the decade? Well, Jared is, no surprise, a financial associate at Thrivent Financial in Lexington, never left. He is a Kentucky guy. I think he's from Nicholsville or Nichols or something like that. But the thing that jumped out to me the most was his LinkedIn bio section. And let's see if you can identify where it just goes completely haywire and wacky. Quote, as a financial associate of Thrivent Financial, my mission is to help people be wise with money and live generously. We believe that everything we have is a gift from God, and we are going to be good stewards of not only our time and talent, but our finances as well. By creating individualized and comprehensive strategies, I strive to help members achieve financial freedom and become more efficient stewards of their resources.
That's good. I remember him. I'm pretty sure Paulson was a walk-on at Kentucky too. The probably reminds of that book I referenced earlier in the episode. Richie Farmer, Kentucky legend, probably had a lot of Jared Paulson in his game.
I do always think it's interesting when people go the religious route on their LinkedIn business profile.
Thank you. That's where I was waiting for. I don't know if that popped out to anyone else.
Oh yeah. Like, did Jesus? I'm pretty sure Jesus had a pretty good like Roth IRA, 401k. Always good to check in to our Lord and Savior there to see what his financial advice is in these trying times. During this crazy market right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to know the finances of a carpenter prehistoric, right? That's something that we need to look at. But Jared Paulson, a financial associate for Where Am I? Shark, you got any hugs or no? It's all right if you don't.
I'll give a hug. Let me think of a hug on the fly here. Give me 1 second on a hug. I got no hugs. What can I hug?
I don't know.
Well, I'll give a hug of sorts, a joking hug, I guess, to Greg Marshall, who has had now 5 players transfer out of his program since the end of the season, which was literally like 3 days ago. Talk about the team that may have it worst out of anybody as the tournament leaves us here is Wichita State. Season ends. Not that they were going to win the national championship or anything, but literally the day after the season ends, 5 players transfer out of the program. So my hug is for Greg Marshall because I don't have any idea what's going on there at Wichita State.
Yeah,
I missed a good opportunity to social distance on my hug right there. I'm not sharp.
Damn.
I'm not sharp. I'm downtrodden. That would have been an easy layup, cheap joke. Maybe get a chuckle out of like 22 people in a 10-person room, but I missed it. That's on me, boys. I'll get better.
Sub, this could have been our elbow bump instead of a hug. We all could have been better during that.
Yeah, the brains are fried, fellas.
But this is how the virus spreads. It's when we're not thinking. It's when we're not sharp. Okay, it's a good lesson to everybody listening right now.
True. My hug is for you, the listener. I tweeted this out last week, but thank you again for listening to us all year and for interacting with us on Twitter. Even you, Bluff City Friar, you fucking lunatic. I've always stated that March is the best time of the year. It's the best month. And March Madness is the greatest sporting event in the world with a million redeeming qualities, from a great Kevin Harlan call to Jim Nance's absurd Final Four tie story that's been circulating past few years, to this exact same Capital One commercial with Chuck, Spike Lee, and Samuel L. Jackson that just gets seared into our brains. But there is no doubt that the greatest part of March Madness is, of course, the finale. And that's one shining moment. For what is officially our last episode of the season, please enjoy the sweet sounds of Luther Vandross, and we will see you next time here on Theater and College Hoops.